Working our way around the studio, the next area that we have is where we store our bisqueware and greenware that's ready to go in the kiln. The lower shelf is all unfired pieces that we've thrown. Above that are pieces that are bisque waiting to be glazed or partially glazed pieces that have multiple colors of glazes going on them. To the right of that is additional storage shelves. Working with a lot of different colored clays, you end up with a lot of different colors of slip. You don't want to mix all that together in one bucket. So what we've done, use discarded or empty containers that we get with our supplements that we give our horses, and use a different one for when we're throwing each different kind of clay. You wipe your hands or scrape off your tools into that, and you have your different colored slips to use when you're adding handles or when you're doing slab work. Another thing I've done down in this area, I've got some tools that are not used all the time on the wheel, but they're handy. Using a section of wire shelving, it works great for storing your bats. Each one fits in its slot, keeps them separated, keeps them handy to the wheel. Money saving tip. This is our wheel area. We have an old Brent Model B electric wheel and a Stewart kick wheel. I replaced the wooden work table on the kick wheel with a Corian countertop that I salvaged from a construction job I was doing. I have additional shelves behind the wheels where we can take pieces off the wheel and set them on wear boards, or take the bats off if we're going to be doing additional throwing work on them later. Above that, we have some stored finish pieces. I'll move in where we can get a better look at those. Karen's been doing a series of fish with faces. Being in Florida and being a fisherman, there's a lot of fish in the area that have common names. The bonefish, the catfish, the cowfish. And she came up with the idea of making sculptures of faces with fish bodies and attachments that would go along with their common name. You can see the bonefish on the left with the bone through his nose. There's catfish in the back. The cowfish, the dogfish, the swordfish. There's no pirate fish, but the pirates are pretty cool. And in the back there's a kingfish and the anglerfish and the black drum. There's the Medusa fish. Then when we were getting ready to do a craft show downtown Fort Myers, which was Surf and Song, she came up with the idea of doing fish with musical instruments. So she has the violinist, she has the saxophone, the vocalist, the guitarist, the flautist, and the cellist. We also have a fish that's called the cigar minnow. So she did fish smoking cigars. And then there's also a pipefish. So there's fish smoking a pipe. Really enjoy pit firing and have done several pieces recently in our fire pit that I built. There's a couple on the right. It's another in the fish series that wasn't pit fired. That one was pit fired. Another bowl. And up top, some additional pit fire pieces. An electric kiln piece. And more pit fires. I have more on those later. This is our glaze area. I have a glaze table. It's on rollers, like everything else. Use it for glazing, also for some of the hand-built pieces. Most of the hand-built pieces are done upstairs in the upper studio. This is a birdhouse that Karen's been working on, done with slabs, and then sculpted on the outside. All our glazes that I mix up are kept on a lower shelf, handy to the glaze table. And then our pieces to be glazed are either on a roll-around cart or over on the shelves I showed you earlier. Additional storage here, paper towels, good lighting, all essential things to a good organized studio. I love to reuse found items. It's my part of recycling. These boxes come from the club stores, Costco, Sam's, BJ's. They're back in the produce section. They come with peppers, cucumbers, different things in them. They throw them away. They're free. They work great as both storage and for transporting pieces to shows. You put a piece of foam rubber that you get when you order things by mail, put that on the bottom, wrap the pieces up, set them in there. If you can keep it to where they're flush with the top, they have little tabs on the bottom or on the top of the boxes and slots on the bottom to where they'll stack. So you can stack 3 or 4 high, slide them in the back of your vehicle, take them out, set up your show. This is one of the display sections that I built for our last show. I have it stored on some shelving brackets on the wall, and also use it to display some of the masks Karen has made. These are pit fired with chicken feathers for adornment and beads for earrings, all that have gone through the pit fire. There's 1 or 2 glazed pieces in here. that kind of gives you the idea of what the inside of the studio looks like. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the little tour of the studio. I'll continue with my tips and tricks that I've picked up in future videos and see if we can't learn something together. Thank you for watching.